What do you think is going to happen with him with Spotify?
Oh, Spotify won't remove Rogan?
You don't think so?
What are
They'd
the
be
odds?
out of their mind.
What are the odds?
They dropped from $60 billion valuation to 36. That's $24 billion. You think the board...
They dropped from 60 billion valuation to 36 billion. And hold up, before I go forward, I just want to say one of these guys are one of my most favorite people on the internet right now. For real. And that is Mr. Patrick Bet-David from Valuetainment. Please make sure that your children are familiar with this channel, Valuetainment, and even you, if you have not checked out Valuetainment before, if you have any type of business ambitions, he can answer your questions with the videos that he already recorded. He's really smart, extremely smart. Also, I'm getting to know Mr. Jordan Peterson as well, who's extremely intelligent and teaching me so much right now. So I've just watched far more Patrick Bet-David Valuetainment videos than I have Jordan Peterson. I'm just now getting to Mr. Jordan Peterson. Pause. But just seeing how intelligent he is makes me want to check up on him more and more and more. Some people think it's politics. It's absolutely not. I don't even care for politics at all. But I do care for real talk. If we're going to talk about something that means something of substance, yes, let's do it all day. And apparently, Mr. Jordan Peterson, that's all he talks about.
Dropped from $60 billion valuation to 36. That's $24 billion. You think the board is sitting there, they're diehard Joe Rogan fans, or do you think they're profit margin, top line revenue fans?
Oh, I would rather that they were the latter, the profit margin types, because that's what a corporation should do. And I'd trust them more if they were doing that.
I'm with you.
But I also think that if they have any sense, and I know how this is going to turn out, it's turned out in my life like 50 times this way.
Yeah.
The heat goes on, the pressure's on, you're in the desert, it's unpleasant, you wait it out. You wait it out. You wait it out. If you haven't done anything wrong, you wait it out. You don't apologize. You don't back down.
You see that? I just now said that on one of Joe Rogan's daggone videos. You wait it out. If you know you're a good person, wait it out. Let the storm pass. And then when it's done, you're right back in it.
You wait it out. If you haven't done anything wrong, you wait it out. You don't apologize. You don't back down. You wait, and things viciously turn in your favor. Now, waiting it out while you're roasting, that's not pleasant. And if the Spotify types have any sense, they think, yeah, well, that's a drop, but, you know, it's part of the death throes of the legacy media. And once all the dust settles, CNN will have half the viewers they have now, and Joe Rogan will have twice the viewers, and we'll be doing just fine. And Rogan, as long as he keeps doing what he's doing, he came out on Instagram. This is so funny. He came out on Instagram to talk about all this a few days ago, and I thought, you nailed it, Joe.
Hey, I've never seen Jordan Peterson look this sharp before. I don't know if y'all noticed, but he's dressed different right now. Like he's dressed different right now. He understands where he is right now. Like when you come into different, like certain rooms, like with Mr. Patrick Bet-David, and people of the like, people of that status, this is how you dress. That is a nice suit that he got on that is different from how he normally dresses. I might be just jumping out there, but I think he went above and beyond for that suit.
So funny. He came out on Instagram to talk about all this a few days ago, and I thought, you nailed it, Joe. He came out and he said, it's a paraphrase, and I'm going to do it a bit comedically. He basically said, well, everyone knows I'm kind of a lunkhead and I have lots to learn, and I probably haven't managed this like perfectly because I do my own scheduling and I just talk to people I'm interested in. And so possibly I could have presented a more balanced view some of the time, and I'll try to do better in the future. And so all the legacy media said, Joe Rogan apologizes, which is not really the case. Mm-hmm. And then he talked about how much he liked Neil Young, and none of this was for show, and none of this was
he's as sincere
PR.
as it gets.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And
he told the story when he was at a Neil Young concert. I mean,
Security,
he's genuinely a fan of security.
Exactly. It was great, man. And so as long as Rogan keeps doing that, and he's been doing it for 5 years, and it's not like he hasn't faced pressure before, it's clear to me that I just can't see any scenario short of his assassination that ends up in Rogan not having 20 million viewers an episode in a year. And so as long as he's careful, like he is, I don't think Rogan can be canceled.
Did y'all hear that? As long as he's careful, he can't be canceled. He's above being canceled. Joe Rogan actually has that much reach right now, that much power right now. And if Mr. Jordan Peterson says it, it's true. I mean, because the dude he's very objective. He's not leaning to one side or the other. Yeah, he does get to a point where, you know what I mean, he has to defend himself, so he takes a position in some things. But in this right here, he doesn't have a horse in this race. He don't have a dog in this fight. So he's just being extremely fair in the way he's looking at it. He see the numbers. He knows what Joe Rogan means to Spotify. He knows what Joe Rogan means to YouTube. He knows what Joe Rogan means to Apple Podcasts and all these other. So he gets it. He gets it on another level. And plus, he also knows that Joe Rogan is not egregious. Joe Rogan is not the type of person that just want to jump out there and just start hurting people for no reason. Yeah, Joe Rogan is a personality that's respected around the world. So when he says something, sometimes he takes a hard stance on a thing, and he says some things that hurt people's feelings. Well, the people whose feelings that got hurt, they need to get over it. But you know what I mean? What he said on some of the things he said on his podcast made Neil Young turn away from Spotify, made other artists turn away from Spotify. India Arie turned away from Spotify. And Neil Young is very well connected in the music world. As a matter of fact, not only in the music world, but in the world period. Like, he's another powerful musician and man who's connected to a bunch of other powerful musicians and men and women. So right now, Spotify has a decision to make, but I believe Spotify is going to stick next to Joe Rogan, not because of the money. I don't think that's the case. I think that Spotify is at a point, too, where they are probably tired of bending simply because people are getting in their feelings about a thing, and they're probably tired of being bullied. Me, I don't care too much for bullying or being bullied, but if I had to choose one, I would prefer to be the bully and not be bullied, to not have a freedom of speech. Because whenever that happens, you know what I mean, you feel like you have to be so guarded and so careful. And then when you do that, you're disingenuous when you speak. You really are. You're just saying what the person across from you want to hear, or you're saying enough not to offend them, but you're not really being truthful. So you don't really know who anyone is because everyone's walking on eggshells around you so that they not disrespect or offend you. That's not living at all.
As long as he's careful, like he is, I don't think Rogan can be canceled. So even if Spotify dumps him, it's like, who's dumping who here? Rogan, he's on Spotify. It's not necessarily. Spotify might be on Rogan.
Wow. Okay. Who's dumping who here? Wow. That's a heavy statement right there. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Rogan, he's on Spotify. It's not necessarily. Spotify might be on Rogan. It's not so clear. And so what's going to happen? They kick him off? Well, he'll just have another platform like tomorrow.
Immediately.
Yeah, and he'll have all the money Spotify gave him, which was actually quite a lot of money.
He'll have way more.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So
he'll have way more.
Did you see what Pat had to say about this topic yesterday? I don't know.
I think Rogan is a billion-dollar guy. I think Elon needs to sign a 20-year, $50 million a year contract with Rogan and start a company, like a social media company. Choose which route you want to go, direct competitor to YouTube, to Google, to... It's not like Elon hasn't done it. He didn't create a company that was revolutionary. He went against cars. Cars have been around for a while.
Well,
he didn't
and
invent
rockets.
cars. Yeah, but what I'm saying is cars and rockets have been around, so it's not like he went and invented the rocket or invented a car. You don't need to invent something. Just go direct against YouTube. Go direct against Spotify. And Elon and Rogan could pull it off with the help of Peter Thiel. It'll work itself out, and they'll recruit the right people.
Now, let me tell you something. I just noticed it said PBD podcast for Patrick Bet-David podcast. This is why I tell y'all this guy is insanely intelligent. He's saying he don't have to reinvent the wheel. He don't have to like create anything new. He already have the reach. He already have the people. People already know him for like having an immensely successful podcast. This dude can shut down his services for anybody and go start his own right now, and bring other people along, and they will follow suit because he knows the way. He knows the road to success. Now, the conglomerates might come together and try to shut them down, but I doubt that'll happen. Yeah, they'll just have to step their game up and compete. And plus, whoever's next up on those platforms, they will just step up and become the next face for those platforms. It just is what it is, man. It's capitalism. So at the end of the day, man, like Mr. Patrick Bet-David is saying, Joe Rogan has a lot of options. So yeah, oh wow, this is a good conversation, man.
Rogan could pull it off with the help of Peter Thiel. It'll work itself out, and they'll recruit the right people. They'll make a few phone calls, and the world's going to come saying, hey, if you like to have a platform for free thinkers and where you're not going to be censored, give us a call or, do this, and it would take off.
So if you enjoyed this little short segment from the podcast that we did, here's another short segment to watch. Or if you want to see the entire podcast, click over here. Take care, everybody. Bye-bye.
Guy's a beast, man. I really appreciate that. Y'all go watch Valuetainment. The guy is awesome. The content you'll get over there, the value you'll get over there is crazy. But what they were saying about Joe Rogan, I'm with them 1,000%. 1,000%. They didn't say anything on here that I disagree with at all. But it's scary how people at the top think, because they are immediately thinking about business. They were discussing business the entire time. They were discussing business. All right. Why? Because that's what makes the world go round, right? When you're able to feed your family, you have a happy home. And when you have a happy home, you know what I mean? People are more productive. And when people are more productive, people are far more involved in things that are going to build the country and not tear it down. So at the end of the day, they're not going to sit there on that podcast, and because they could have very well sat on that podcast, and when they talked about Joe Rogan, they could have went another direction. They could have talked about how people feel and how the world need to stop being so, stop saying things and stop offending people. They could have gone that route and went into civil rights and the N-word and how it hurt people. Like, they could have spent all of that. Trust me, if I have those conversations with other people, that's how the conversations will go. The conversations will not be about, okay, how can he get over top of this? Is he already doing what he need to do? What is he worth, not only to Spotify, but to the world at large? With regard to the skill that he brings to the table, the value that he brings to the table when he's doing his podcasting. Clearly is a whole lot, especially if Spotify, from what I'm hearing, just now re-signed him for $100 million or something like that. Come on, bruh. Come on. And some people are saying he's even underpaid. He's underpaid, because what that means is he's making them far more than what they're paying them. Usually that's the only reason why people will pay you anything. Nobody's going to pay you what they're not making from you. All right? They're not. Simply not. So please let me know what y'all thought about that in the comments. Also, if you have yet to hit that subscribe button, do so. The like button, the notification bell, so you're notified when I put out another video. And I am now teaching people how to do reactions, because that's what I do. And if you want to learn, I will be doing that on my other channel. The link is below, the van.hall channel. Okay. So thank you very much for tuning in. And like Mr. Patrick Bet-David says, if you received any value whatsoever from this reaction, please make sure that you sub the channel, all right? And share this with someone so that they can receive the same value you did. Okay, that's pretty much all I have. Love y'all.